Hi, this is John. If you've ever had knee pain, you know how frustrating, even debilitating it can be, changing how you move, your activity level, and your day-to-day life. So let's look today at 5 things you can do to help keep your knees healthy, or if you're feeling some pains, to maybe help you recover from that. Now, of course, I'm not a doctor, but this is physical stuff you can do, short of some debilitating or traumatic incident. And of course, you always need to, seek out the advice of a doctor if you are suffering from these kind of things. Or, physical therapists too. Often they can work wonders and help alleviate, as well as teaching you what to do to keep your knees healthy. Now let's go ahead and start out with some lateral band walks. If you may have seen, I put this little band here. You can buy those at any major retailer or sporting goods store. They come in a lot of different, resistances, so you may want to get a variety of them. What we're going to do though, start off with about 15 to 20 reps. We'll do 2 sets. That's what I'd recommend for you. I'll demonstrate everything. You could do 2 sets of 15 to 20 reps of each of these 5 exercises, starting with these band walks. Now I've put it right around my ankles. As you progress, you may want to use a thicker band, a band with more resistance, or even try it up above your knees. But what we're doing here, and I'll show you a side view, kind of stepping back at a bit of an angle. My toes stay going forward, second toe in line with the knee, in line with basically the outside of the hip. And I'm stepping back into the side at about a 45-degree angle or so. You will start feeling it burn. You will start feeling the muscle on the outside of your hip, your glute medius. You'll start feeling that fire. Now that's important because that helps keep everything in line. Remember, everything is connected. And that's a very important muscle in your gait and reducing the amount of stress that is placed on the joints when you move, when you walk, when you wear those high heels, which you shouldn't always do sometimes. So, 15 to 20 of these. Start with that. Remember, 2 sets. The next thing we'll do, now if you have a little bit of, you're still working on your balance, you may want to hold on to something. This is a hip hinge. This will hit the gluteus maximus, maybe the second most important muscle in your body after, that's right, your cardiac muscle. So, pick up 1 foot. Now, that might be enough. You may want to start here. If so, if you're just going to balance on 1 foot, that's great. That's working on proprioception, balance, and engagement of all the muscles, in the chain there, which helps support knee function, of course. Otherwise, next step, I'll show you the side view. My right foot is up, standing on my left foot. I'm going to push this hip back, the hip of the standing leg. That's what I'm going to push back. Rather than folding forward, I'm going to push that hip back, keeping a flat back. Reach out, maybe touch something a couple feet off the ground, or as you progress all the way down to the floor, you can tap your toe of the lifted leg each time if you need to. So again, 15 to 20 of these, wherever you are when you start, that's perfect. If you're only balancing, hold it like 30 seconds, work up to 60 seconds. Both have value. So 15 or 20 of those each side. Here's kind of another view, another angle. Hips stay level. Remember, push that hip back. That's the number 1 thing you do. Good contact down here. You feel the weight kind of shift a little bit back into the heel of that standing foot. And just wherever you're going to touch. So no bending, no rounding. Pushing the hip back. That pushing the hip back is going to engage the gluteus maximus. You'll feel it in your hamstring stretch a little bit too. Dynamic flexibility in the hamstring. Another very important aspect of knee health. Number 3, wall squat. And it's just what it is, sounds like. This one we're going to hold static. If you want to eventually, if you have access to like a big stability ball, big Swiss ball, you could always do squats against the wall here. What's great about this is, and if you ski, maybe you've used this exercise before, because it works your quads. I mean, it works the entire leg, the entire thigh, but you feel it in your quads. Quads are very important. You want those to be strong, and you want pretty close to, you want your hamstrings and quads to be basically the same strength. It's always going to be a little bit of a ratio and a strength difference, but that's okay. So, my shin, vertical. My hips are down pretty much on level with my knees. Should be no pain in the knees. Lower back against the wall, shoulders against the wall, arms by my side. Start with holding these 30 seconds. You can work up to 60 seconds. If you get crazy, hey, just go for 90 seconds or 2 minutes. Very important when you're trying to support your knee health. Next, let's get down to the ground for the next 2 donkey kicks, which do 2 things. Starting here on all fours, keep your knee bent to 90 degrees. Drive the heel to the ceiling. You don't want any low back pain, but you do want to feel your hips, your gluteus maximus once again, working. 15 to 20 on one side. Try to keep your back flat, so no rocking and rolling up and down. Try to keep everything stable, just extending at the hip, keep the knee bent. You've probably seen them done this way before too. That puts a little more strain on the low back, so try to keep your knee bent. So 15 to 20 donkey kicks each side. Take your time. As you progress, maybe you can add a little ankle weight or something like that. Next, stay on the floor. This is a stretch to open your hips. Oftentimes, knees have pain because your hips are tight. You're transferring all that load, all that stress from moving about every day into the joint. That's sometimes part of the problem as well. So let's do a good hip stretch here. You can lie on your back, right ankle on left knee. That might be enough. Okay? Figure 4 stretch, it's often called. There's another view for you. That's great. Next step, maybe walk your foot back a little bit more. If you don't feel it yet in this hip, wrap your fingers, interlace your fingers around that thigh, squeeze back, keep your shoulders on the ground. So I don't want to see this, all that, that you may be stretching a little bit, but you're also adding a bunch of tension in your upper back and neck, and what's the point of that? So right here, hold that. 30 to 60 seconds, then do the other side. So using those 5 moves are going to help keep your knees healthy. If you have any other questions, you can always find my workouts on YouTube. And of course, go to Be Move Live for more workouts and tips about healthy knees and healthy living. This is John. I'll see you next time.